Hello students, welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to deal with this type checking. So, the objective of this session is to understand the concept of type checking and what is the purpose of type checking and where the compiler performs this type checking. We are going to learn in this session. So, what is type checking? Type checking means it is the process of verifying the each operation executed in the given source code. Let us say if I am writing a C program or C source code, it may consist several operations. I have to check each and every operation whether all the operations are following the syntactic rules or semantic rules of that particular source code or not, or source language or not. Okay, so which are following the type rules. Here we are calling it the type rules. Okay, this type checking is done by a module known as type checker. This is a module in the compiler. So now the question, where this module will be placed or where it is existed. Okay, and it is done at the semantic analysis phase. We know that there are 6 phases of the compiler. The first one is the lexical analysis. Output of lexical analysis is tokens. These are given as input to the syntax analysis phase. The output of the syntax analysis phase is parse tree or syntax tree. It is given as input to the semantic analysis and it is going to generate the annotated parse tree. Okay, so this type checking is performed in the place of semantic analysis only. Okay, we learned that type checking is performed in the semantic analysis. Here the token stream which is generated from lexical analysis is given as input to this syntax analysis phase. The syntax analysis phase takes this token stream as input and it is going to generate the syntax tree, or we simply called it the AST, abstract syntax tree, and this is the input for semantic analysis phase and it is going to generate the annotated parse tree or annotated syntax tree, and this is given as input to the intermediate code generated, which is going to generate the intermediate code. So now the question, where this type checker is to be placed? It is to be placed in this semantic analysis. That means it is taking the AST. AST means abstract syntax tree, which is generated from syntax analysis phase. Okay, from the semantic analysis phase, the annotated syntax tree or annotated parse tree is generated. Okay, this is given as input to the static checker. That means the semantic analysis only consists this static checker. Okay, so annotated syntax tree is given as input to the syntax static checker and now it is going to generate the decorated annotated syntax tree or decorated AS tree. Okay, so this is complete syntax tree which does not consist any types of type check errors. Okay, so this decorated AST does not consist any errors. Okay, now this is given as input to the ICG. So in this diagram, this AST is given to this static checker. Now the decorated AST is given as input to the ICG, intermediate code generator. Okay, that means this type checker is included in the semantic analysis phase only. Okay, so now the question, how to design a type checker? Okay, so type checker means we have to check all the operations or all the syntax and semantic rules for that particular operations. If there is any operation is not violating the rules, then immediately it has to generate the error. Now the question, how to design a type checker? So the first one is we have to identify the all the available types. Okay, all the available types in the given language. That means what are the various data types are available in the given language. For example, in C language we can use int, float, char like this. So before going to design a type checker for C language, I have the knowledge of what are the various types of data types are existing in this particular C language. Okay, next, and then we have to identify the language construct, that means the control structure, okay, that have types associated with them. Okay, we have to think for what are the various control structures and what are the operation, what are the syntax and semantic rules. Next, finally, identify the semantic rules for the language. This is the most important point. We have to think what are the grammatical rules we have to follow for a particular language. If you have a question, what is a strongly typed language? That means if a language is considered strongly typed when each and every type of error is detected in the time of compilation. That means in the compilation process only it has to detect all the types of errors associated with that particular language. If the source code consists some errors, definitely the compiler has to generate the help of error table. Okay, what is the type checking preventions? That means how to avoid the errors. The first one is application of a function to wrong number of arguments. That means if you am used a function as function 1 with only 2 arguments, but when I am calling this one, I am using, let us say, some 3 statements. So definitely it is going to generate an error, because here there are 2 arguments are there, but here 3 arguments are given. That means I passed the 3 arguments. So definitely it generates an error. Okay. Next, application of integer functions to floats. That means if I am writing int a equal to 2, but if I perform some operation as a equal to 2 modulo 4.5, so definitely it generates an error. So we have to avoid this type of operations. Now come to the third one, use of undeclared variables in the expressions. If I am not going to declare the variables properly, but if I am going to use them in my expressions or operations or in the instructions, definitely it is going to generate some errors. Next, functions that do not return values. That means if I am writing a function with return statement as void, but in the function body if I am writing return some statement, so definitely it is going to generate some error. Okay, and division by 0 and array indices out of bounds, this is checked in the dynamic type checking. Okay, come to what are the various variants of the type checking. Here this type checking can be done in 2 ways, that is the static one and dynamic. If it is static, we are going to checking at the compile time only, and if it is dynamic, we are going to check at the runtime. Okay, now we are going to discuss about what are the various types of static time or compile time type checking and what is the dynamic type checking. So static type is done at this compile time, okay, and which is also known as semantic check. So as we discuss, if the annotated syntax tree or annotated parse tree is given as to the input to the static checker, we are going to generate the decorated AST. In the previous slide, we discussed this is the type checker only, but here we are named it as static type checker, and it is going to generate the input for the ICG as decorated AST. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about what are the various types of static type checking. So there are 4 types of static type checking: type check, flow control check, uniqueness check, and name related check. We are going to discuss all these things in detail. Come to the first one, it is type check. What is type check? Suppose if I am writing int a equal to some 3 and char d equal to some s, but after that I am going to perform the operation as a plus d. So definitely it is going to generate some error, because here a is the integer type and d is the character type. So we cannot perform the operation between the integer and character. So definitely it is going to generate some error. Okay. Next, come to the second example. Let us say integer is we are performing the modulo operation with some floating point number, definitely it is going to generate some error. These types of errors are comes under type check. Okay, now come to the second one. The second one is flow control check. What is flow control check? Let us say if I am writing some for loop, or if I am executing some for loop, and in between for loop if there is a if statement, and depend upon if I am writing break, that's fine. But irrespective of any statement, if I am writing break outside of the loop, so which is indicating the flow control check, or which indicates an error, and that is comes under flow control check. Okay, come to the third one. It is uniqueness check. What is uniqueness check? We are going to check the uniqueness of the names. Suppose if I am writing go to some label, definitely that label name must be like this only. This must to be matched, otherwise it is going to generate some errors. Okay, and int a equal to 2 and char a equal to some yes. Here, so here also it is going to generate some error. This comes under uniqueness check. Okay, now come to the last one. It is name related checks. So let us discuss a function with two values a, b. I am calling the same function with 3. That means I am passing the 3 arguments. So definitely it is going to generate an error. It comes under name related checks. Okay, next to the second type of type checking, it is dynamic type checking. Okay, that means we are going to type check all the instructions in the runtime. So it is done at the runtime, and the dynamically typed languages are like JavaScript, PHP and Python. Okay, next, most of the languages used the both, that means the static type checking and dynamic type checking. And static or dynamic does not mean for weak or strong. So what are the example? The very known example for dynamic checking is out of bound of the array indexing. Okay, let us deal with this particular one. T tends to int. That means here definitely the data type assigned to T is integer. If T tends to float, that means I have to assign a float value only to T. If D tends to TID, that means D tends to T and T tends to ID. So what is the identifier type assigned to T, that is to be assigned to D. So what I am writing, D type equal to T type, and system entered ID name D type. What is the ID entered here? That is the type of D. Next, D equal to D1 ID. It is also same like the previous statement, but here T, here it is D1. Okay, let us discuss the SDD for the type checking. So here there is a expression E equal to E1 plus E2. Let us say we are going to deal all this expression with integer numbers only. So after performing the addition operation between E1 and E2, I am going to assign that value to E. So I wrote E dot type equal to E1 dot type plus E2 dot type. Then come to the next one, E tends to E1. That means E1 dot type is to be assigned to E dot type. Next come to the next one, E tends to E2. That means E type equal to E2. So what is the type of E2? What we got, that is to be the same type of E. Next, finally, E tends to number. So number is nothing but the integer. If E tends to number, the type of E equal to integer. If I am going to execute this expression, now come to this first one, E1 and E2. So we are saying that strictly we are dealing with the integers only. Okay, so what I have to write, E1 type must equal to E2 type. So this is the basic condition. E1 type must equal to E2 type. What is E1 type? E1 type and E2 type must be integer, because we are going to deal with the integers. So E1 type must equal to E2 type. That means E1 and E2 must be integers. Okay. If E1 type equal to not an integer. If it is not an integer, so we cannot find what is the E type. Otherwise, if E2 type also not as an integer, then also we cannot find what is the type of integer. So these types must be integer, then only we can perform the operation, and the result obtained for E1 plus E2 is assigned to E, and that is also integer. Okay, from this session we learned what is type checking, and the module type checker is going to perform the type checking. It is going to check all the operations and the control flow statements for the errors. If any error is there, immediately it has to raise such error. And what are the various types of type checking? That is the static and dynamic time. If it is static time, it is going to be checked at the compile time. If it is the dynamic time, it is going to check at the runtime. Okay, thank you.